All I'm trying to say is don't change. Everybody you is just right. Don't change. Not a single curve or one line. So why cover up your flaws when they make you who you are? All I'm trying to say is don't.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us today. I'm Neil Braun. I am the Dean of the Lubin School of Business at Pace University. We're really happy to have you with us today. We would have preferred to meet in person, but it's unusual circumstances. We're going to spend the next hour or so telling you a little bit about business education and the Lubin School of Business. You're going to get to hear directly from three of our students. So thank you again for being with us today. And also behind the scenes, we have our advisors ready to answer your questions. So if you want to use the chat function, please go ahead and post your questions and the advisors will respond to you in real time. I want to talk to you first a little bit about just what a business education is. It's based on a liberal arts education as a foundation. All students who come to Pace University as freshmen are required to take the university core courses, because even as a business person, to be credible, you need to be articulate about art and history and economics and science. So we build a foundation in the liberal arts. But as you progress, you'll be able to take a business course or two in your freshman year, but as you progress, you take more and more business courses. We also have a core that all business students take, so to familiarize you with what is accounting, what is finance, what is marketing, what is management. So that's where you move on, and then you move on to your major as you begin to think more and more about what you want to specifically study. I really believe sincerely that no matter what you want to do in life, an undergraduate business education is highly valuable and useful, because no matter what you want to do, you do have to identify a need or an opportunity. You have to develop a plan for addressing that need or opportunity. You need to develop the budget that's required for the implementation of your plan. And then you have to figure out, where am I going to get the money for my budget? Am I going to borrow it? Am I going to sell stock? Am I going to do a friends and family round? What am I going to do? How am I going to finance my budget? And then you need to figure out what kinds of human beings you need to surround yourself with to complement your own talents. Nobody can do it alone. And what kind of messaging do you need for attracting customers, for talking to shareholders, for motivating employees? So messaging becomes very important. And how are you going to measure your progress? How am I doing? How's my business doing? Am I profitable? How's it going? What do I need to do next? Those are the fundamental disciplines of a business education. And while I firmly believe that in any economy, those things are the things you need to understand, those are the things you need to be able to problem solve for, I really believe even more so that in the economy that's going to emerge after the crisis of this pandemic subsides, there are going to be new needs, there are going to be new opportunities. We're going to have to talk the vocabulary of startups and business and the concepts of the fundamental disciplines and the problem-solving templates. How does a marketer think about solving problems? How does a financial person think about it? We're going to help you become the kind of person that employers look for, that investors invest in, somebody who's agile, somebody who's adaptable, somebody who's a problem solver. So that's what we do at the Lubin School of Business. We help you become that kind of person, that very best version of you. And now to tell you a little bit more about the Lubin School of Business, I want to introduce Associate Dean and Marketing Professor, Randy Prelig. Randy, take it away.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Lubin School of Business. Today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about all the opportunities you get when you come to study business at Pace University. And I'm just going to share my screen with you so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's our iconic building located in downtown Manhattan, right next to City Hall. I'm going to tell you about some of our rankings and then talk about some of our programs. First, we are among the top 1/3 of business schools, according to US News and World Report. We are top 11% for return on investment, which means you get a really good job when you graduate. We are accredited by the AACSB for both business and accounting, which is a distinction that is held by fewer than 5% of the schools worldwide. We have one of the largest internship programs in the metropolitan area, and this is what helps get you started on your paced path to success. Our Lubin advantage is that we have small class sizes and a dedicated team of faculty and staff and advisors to work with you. Every student who comes to Pace University gets a professional advisor to help guide them through their program. Also, in your sophomore year, you're assigned a faculty mentor to help you with your career goals. Because we're in New York City, we have so many opportunities. There are tons of businesses located within feet of our doorstep. Also, our 78,000 alumni live and work in the area, and they come back and they give back. They come to our classes as guest speakers. They provide projects for our students from their businesses, and they hire our students as well. The signature Lubin PACE Path is a special program that you get when you come here. It starts with a course in professional planning and practice for internships and careers, and that's a big mouthful, but what it really means is we help you with your resume and interviewing skills. You develop a career plan for your future, and then you go on to do 2 professional experiences. Perhaps it's an internship, or maybe it's a special class where they do a real world project with a company. So this is what sets us apart. You know, we have the usual majors in the School of Business, accounting, finance, marketing, but we have some really special things in Lubin. The first is our most popular major, which is our Arts and Entertainment Management program. And it's really popular because in New York City, we really can take advantage of the business. Many of our students go on to work at Viacom or NBC Universal in that program. You can also major in our management department in entrepreneurship and take advantage of our entrepreneurship lab. You can major in hospitality and tourism or human resources management. If you're more quantitatively inclined, perhaps you choose a major in accounting, and you can sit for the CPA exam after doing one of our 5-year programs and get your undergraduate degree and your MBA or MS degree as well. If you're an international student and you're looking for a STEM program, you can major in business analytics or information systems or even digital marketing, and you can do your OPT from there. In our marketing department, you can major in global marketing or integrated marketing communications, and you can participate in our advertising team, which is hosted right on our campus. And finally, if you want to be a finance major, you can major in corporate or personal finance, just 4 blocks away from Wall Street. Our combined degree programs allow you to get an undergraduate degree and a master's degree in 5 years. And I already mentioned the accounting program, but you can also do it with a marketing or management degree and go on to get your master's degree in social media and mobile marketing or in human resources management. We also have some amazing minors in the Lubin School of Business, and you can see that I've highlighted some of the ones that are unique and don't have majors associated with them, like our fashion marketing or special events marketing. And later on, you'll see some of the places where our students go to get positions in firms in these areas. We don't just learn in the classroom here in Lubin, we also learn outside the classroom. There are a ton of student organizations that students can join. You can see some of them at the bottom of my screen, like the Pace Investment Club or the Pace University Marketing Association or Women in Corporate America. The Industry Network is for our arts and entertainment management students, as well as Beta Alpha Psi. And you can start your own club here at Pace University. Get a few of your friends together, and the university will support you by giving you funding for your events. You can do study abroad. You can study for a semester abroad, or you can take a field study course. A field study course is a class that runs for 5 sessions in the classroom with 2 faculty members. And then you, along with the whole class, travel to some exotic location. In January, students went to Malaysia and Singapore on their class trip. And next January, students in the finance area are going to Vietnam. We always have a trip to Brussels and London, and almost always a trip to Sweden and Denmark as well. Students in Lubin also participate in a lot of competitions. The most famous one is the National Student Advertising Competition, and this year the students are working on a marketing plan for Adobe, which is a tech company, and they will present to a panel of executives in the advertising business, so they get exposure to that. We also regularly have a competition with the company Group M in data analytics, as well as our accounting PwC case challenge. If you're an entrepreneurship major, maybe you want to do our PACE pitch, where you pitch your business to venture capitalists and then they fund you. Or maybe you're interested in doing our mobile app development contest. If you're a finance major, perhaps you take the Student Management Investment Portfolio course, where the university gives you $200,000 to invest for the school. And students have been doing really well with that by picking the best investments. You could do an analytics boot camp, which is a 4-course sequence to improve your digital analytics skills. And finally, if you're a finance or accounting major, you might become certified in Microsoft Excel, and actually that's required here in Lubin. And you might also be certified in Bloomberg terminals. I'm going to close with our dedicated career service professionals, because this is a really big part of what we do here at Pace University. We have specific business school counselors that work with you to help you get the positions that you need. Most of our students go on to some positive outcome, such as grad school or a career. There are 25,000 jobs listed on our Handshake platform so that students can go on and find positions that are right for them. We have workshops in advising, in career advising, resume building, interviewing, tons and tons of career fairs where we bring employers onto campus, and an executive in residence program where we bring the top level executives to campus as well. You'll see on the right side some of the companies that hired Lubin students out of the class of 2019 for both internships and first jobs. And you can see students have had internships at places like Amazon and Disney, Group M, JP Morgan Chase, the Mets, Colgate-Palmolive, HBO. And this is not where we hope students will get jobs or where we have connections, but this is actually the list of places where some of our students went to work when they completed their program here at Pace. These are the kinds of opportunities that we will also provide for you when you come to us. I just want to close with the idea that we're here for you. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. You can ask in the chat. You can get in touch with us later. We really are looking to help you, turn you into the professional that you will become going forward. Now, I'd like to introduce Professor Kostov Sen from our accounting department, who's going to interview some of our students so you can really see these actions at work and how it worked out for them. Kostov?
Thank you, Randy. Once again, welcome students to this session. I will have a set of questions for 3 of our excellent students. And to begin the discussion, I will ask each student to introduce themselves briefly. And then I'll ask some questions about the experiences and the opportunities that are awaiting you at Pace. The set of students that we have in the panel today are not only academically talented, but they are leaders on campus. They've had excellent internship positions and are thoroughly engaged members of the PACE community. So, and during the entire presentation, if you have any questions, please post on the chat box and we'll get to your questions. So the first student that I'd like to welcome is Ada Kolar. She's an accounting major. Ada, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yes, of course. Good morning. My name is Aida Kolar. I'm a junior here at Pace, part of the combined degree program studying public accounting and taxation.
Thank you. So, you know, you're doing a BBA in accounting and a master's in taxation. Why did you choose this path and why at Lubin?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, just as many of the students that are here today, I went through a high school that was solely for business. So I did a lot of what we call here at Pace our majors and studied a little bit of each, doing finance, accounting, entrepreneurship. And accounting was definitely something that stuck with me, something that I had an interest in. And I knew that's what I wanted to pursue in college, but didn't necessarily know what track I wanted to go into. So looking at the different options, Pace was probably one of, if not the only school in New York City that provided a combined degree program, and I knew that was something that I wanted to pursue in the long run. So knowing that PACE had the opportunity to not only explore accounting, but also different fields was very interesting to me, and specifically going into tax, that was something I found practically this semester after taking a tax course and really going into an internship. I really found that's what I wanted to specialize in within accounting, and my journey at PACE with really exploring different options for me is why I chose PACE from the beginning, and it really allowed me to open up those opportunities to finding what exactly I want to study and where exactly I want to go after college.
That's great to know. So, moving on, you are the president of the Women in Corporate America, as well as the Business Honors Program Advisory Board. What are these organizations? Can you tell us a little bit about, what they do and how you got involved in them?
Yes, so the Women in Corporate America and the Business Honors Program are both undergraduate student organizations, but are open to all the students on campus. And what we really do for both of them is really connecting students with both professionals and alumni, as well as peers and faculty on campus, to really broaden that horizon of understanding what you want to do within your specific industry, while also designating the mission and vision of both of the organizations. For example, for Women in Corporate America, it's more women empowerment through the different sectors of the different industries, and really bringing in professionals to show that different outlook of what it is in different career industries and different career outlooks of what that means to be a woman empowerment figure, as well as how to get there. So it's really just connecting that bridge from the classroom, but also connecting people with different networks. And joining student organizations was something that I've always had an interest in from the very beginning. I knew I wanted to create some type of community for myself since being a commuter student on campus. So finding that general community on campus and developing it was something that was important to me.
Wow, I'm really impressed. So, you are interning at the accounting firm Markham LLP. What kind of an experience have you had there?
Yeah, so I just started this January. So this is my first internship within tax, and I'm doing alternative investments. So working with private equity and hedge funds and partnerships. So it's really been an experience for me to really develop what I'm learning in the classroom and really practice it within the industry and really get hands-on work with it. And it's been a great experience getting that experience during my time in tax season while also studying and putting the work that I'm doing in the classroom into real life work that I will be doing after college when I go into a career.
That's very impressive because, alternative investments, and this is cutting edge, and you're getting experience into something that is really happening as we progress in these different investment ideas. I'm so glad to hear that. So moving on, can you tell us a little bit about your experience at PACE, favorite class or any other experience that you've had at Lubin?
Yeah, so my favorite experience by far here at PACE, and of course I've loved all of my accounting and tax programs, but a unique experience for me was definitely through my web design for nonprofit class. It was a class I took during my sophomore year, and it was a transition point into the business aspect while also incorporating sort of that social service and civic engagement portion into it. It was really an opportunity to connect with the community within PACE and really learn, yet still business aspects of nonprofit and how to work with it. So a lot of what we did in this class was creating a website for students with autism and really connecting with students, part of the AHRC community and programs with them. So really getting to interact with the program and the organization and building that business background, but also helping out with the local community. So there was definitely a unique experience for me to not only learn about the community around PACE itself, but also bringing in that business aspect and learning a little bit about different portions of business that we don't necessarily think about, especially through a tax perspective that I might have.
So, the course that you talked about is the computer science, the introductory computer science course, and you're talking about reaching out to the community. So you've touched on a lot of different areas, outside of accounting and taxation, at the same time incorporated with the discipline or the majors that you're studying. And that is really interesting because, the social aspect of it and using a class like computer science, CIS 101 is something quite unique. Thank you, Ada, for all your insights. Stay on because there will be questions from the audience later on. So, I'll come back to you and ask you to answer those questions. So if I may, I will move on to the second student that we have on the panel. And I'd like to welcome Marissa Ann, who's an arts and entertainment major. Marissa Ann, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about what you're studying and doing at Lubin?
Sure. Good morning, and thank you for having me. My name is Marissa Ann Rizzatello. I'm studying arts and entertainment management with a minor in marketing, and I'm a senior, so I'm graduating this May.
Thank you. So why did you choose this major?
Yeah, so before attending PACE, I was at a community college on Long Island while also pursuing a career in music. So I was writing, recording, and performing. I was also a contestant on The Voice and performing on, other television shows. But at one point, I decided I wanted to get a degree and, really learn the business side of the industry. And PACE was one of the few schools that provided a business degree in arts and entertainment management while also being in the heart of New York City, which is where I always knew I wanted to further develop my career.
That's really good to know, the combination of factors that made you come to PACE. You've had two internships, one at NBC Universal and the other one at Group M MediaCom. Can you share your experience at each of these?
Yeah, so I've had quite a few internships throughout my college career, which each experience has taught me something totally different. But last semester I was juggling two at the same time, one with Group M's MediaCom and one with NBC. Definitely learned the power of time management, but it was also interesting to see kind of the overlaps between PR and social media, which those were the two departments I was in, and it really further strengthened my skill set.
So you could complement each other, the experience that you brought in to make yourself a wholer kind of an individual to perform better in the career later on. So they complemented each other. Okay, great to know.
Definitely.
And you are part of the Arts and Entertainment Industry Network. What exactly is it and what is your role in it?
Yeah, so the Arts and Entertainment Industry Network is a club on campus that really centers around the business side of the entertainment industry. We all share a passion for the arts. I'm the president, and my job is to create events on and off campus with major companies to really connect our students with employers for internship opportunities and networking. We had Madison Square Garden come this semester to talk about their internship opportunities. We also planned an on-site visit with United Talent Agency as well as A&E Networks. So those were really fun. And, it's been a highlight of my career leading this club on campus because I've built amazing relationships with our faculty, our members, as well as industry professionals.
Yes, and one of the important things about being successful in business is to be able to network and make the connections. So this is giving you an opportunity to do that and learn while you are still in college. So it's good to know that you've been able to utilize this opportunity. What would be your favorite class or experience at PACE?
Yeah, so like mentioned, definitely leading this club has been super rewarding, but I've also enjoyed the curriculum throughout my program. One in particular was the Arts and Entertainment Management course taught by Professor Chris Ramos. And that was super fun because we kind of teamed up to create a mock event, everything from ticketing to merchandise to venue planning. So that was a really rewarding experience, as well as my social media marketing class I took with actually Professor Randy Preluck. I was able to leverage the knowledge I learned in that course during my interviews with certain employers, and they were always impressed with, you know, the stuff we were learning, and I felt like it was definitely a competitive advantage.
Thank you. And you're set to graduate next month. So what do you plan to do after you graduate?
Yeah, so due to our current situation, this is a tricky time for class of 2020. So I'm staying optimistic, but preparing to be agile. But as of now, I have a full-time offer with Lubin's MediaCom as a social media analyst, which I'm really excited about. Alongside that, I have created my own business with the help of PACE's Small Business Development Center. And you know, I'm have a list of clients that I teach vocal lessons to. On the weekends, I perform at private events and weddings. So I'm still doing what I love, and PACE really gave me the tools to help me discover how to turn my passions into a career. And if it weren't for the ample opportunities that the school provides, I don't know if any of this would have been possible. So I'm forever grateful for my education and experiences at PACE.
Wow, I'm impressed. You know, you have a job offer and you have a business on the side, and you've got your, you know, entrepreneurial thing going as well. So you are really hitting on the right buttons and trying to become more successful after you graduate. So good luck, and you know, thank you for all your insights.
Thank you.
So I'll call on the last student in the panel, Cameron. Cameron is a finance major. Welcome, Cameron. Can you introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Cameron Camel. I'm a junior at PACE, and I'm studying finance and business analytics, and I plan to graduate in May 2021.
Thank you. So this morning, you're up and early because you're joining us from California. And, you know, can you tell us why you decided to come to Lubin in New York City, you know, and, you know, where are you from, so we can get your bearings and understand, you know, what's the real pulling attraction to PACE and Lubin?
Yes, I'd love to. So originally, I'm from North Central Massachusetts, and I went to a private prep school outside Worcester. But my reasoning for coming to PACE really was because it was a small, mid-sized school in the heart of a large city. And that's really what I wanted, because since I had that rural background, I really wanted to kind of come out of my shell and see what the world really had to offer. And I feel like there's no place better to do that than New York City. Another reason why I chose PACE in the Lubin School of Business is because at the time of my application, PACE offered quantitative business analytics, which is now formerly known as business analytics. And I thought that that was a very well sought after major, extremely challenging, and I think employers were really looking for that. And so for those few reasons are why I really chose to come to PACE.
Thank you. So, you know, you're a finance major, and what is it like being a block from Wall Street, you know, going to school, studying the finance theory and being right where the action is?
Yeah, I think it's definitely had a major impact in my time at PACE, because as I just said, you know, I came here as a business analytics major, but, you know, now I'm a finance major. And I think part of that is because, you know, we do live in FIDI. We live in the financial district of Manhattan. And I think that it's definitely had a major impact in my time because, you know, the students and faculty that I've met, you know, some of them actively trade on the stock market, and, you know, they've kind of gotten me into that, and, you know, it's definitely been very successful. And especially I attribute part of it to my late night walks that I would do down to the stock exchange when I was trying to make my decision to, you know, if I really actually wanted to switch from business analytics to finance, and, you know, if that was really the right move for me. And so I think it definitely had an impact.
So did you go down and, you know, pat the bull and get the energy and then decide?
I would say so. I mean, I wouldn't normally go to the bull. I would go down to the stock exchange itself, and I would sit at the steps, and, you know, next to George Washington. You know where that is.
Okay. So, you know, can you tell us about your internship experiences?
Yeah, so this past summer, I was selected to be a summer analyst at JKV Capital, which for those of you who don't know, JKB Capital is a private equity real estate firm in Newport Beach, California, where I was being an analyst for roughly $100 million that summer. And, I worked directly underneath the CEO and CFO of the company, as, I was in charge of, doing a fund overview for our clients who had investments exceeding $20 million. I ran analysis of our current portfolios and the assets that we have, and, trying to roll over capital and move money. I also curated custom presentations for investors who were looking to invest, a minimum of $5 million. And I did investor newsletters for all of our clients, both monthly and quarterly. But what I'm most proud of is the very robust multivariable model that I built on the cash flows from a $25 million entry and a 7-year fixed exit. When completed, my model was able to tell you, per dollar, how much net income you would have, the properties we flipped, the dividends we would pay to our investors if we reached certain thresholds, the multiple of our invested capital, the internal rate of return, and so on and so forth. This was such a complex and extremely delicate model that I built, and I'm truly proud of it. And my boss too was exceptionally blown away, considering that I was a sophomore and I completed this in my summer in a period of 2 months. I'm not saying it was easy or anything, but it definitely took hundreds of hours of work and many sleepless nights and early mornings. But I think it's a true accomplishment.
I'm blown away as well. You've done the full model yourself in such a short period of time. That's no easy task, especially in how sensitive the model is to the different assumptions as well. So that's very good. You really learned so much at the internship as well. Moving on, while at Pace, you've worked on different kinds of projects. Can you tell us a little bit about them, or at least one of them, and share your experience?
Definitely. I'll answer this question in 2 parts. I'll do it from an academic standpoint, and then some of the clubs I'm a part of. So from an academic standpoint, I'm a very big fan of UFC, and so for my Python coding class, which for those of you who don't know, Python is a script that you would use to write kind of like HTML. It's very manipulative, and you can really work within it, but it's very finicky. And our teacher allowed us to use any publicly available data and then run a statistical analysis of that data, which I thought was, extremely challenging, because Python is, very finicky. Anything as much as a missed comma can, give you a null result. But I really learned a lot, because we decided to do our analysis to determine whether or not your height, stance, or reach would give you a statistical advantage in a UFC fight. Which I thought was great, because we were able to bring up visuals and, use loops and different functions to kind of prove our point. But I thought this was my favorite project at Pace, because, since it was so challenging, but I was so interested in the topic, I really wanted to find the answer, and it really gave me the drive and the motivation to find that answer. And secondly, would be from my corporate finance class with Professor Watson. We had to pick a stock. I chose Apple, because I love Apple. And you had to do a full analysis of their cash flows and determine whether or not they were a buy or a sell. And, this was my favorite, the second favorite project, because I actively trade on the New York Stock Exchange. And this is, crucial for me, because understanding, whether or not it's a buy or a sell is extremely important in making decisions in investing. And now I'm going to go into the clubs I've been a part of at Pace. So my favorite club that I'm a part of is the W Pub Radio. I was a radio show host, and my friends and I went in, and we used to actually be really nervous and afraid to talk in front of people, but it gave me my outlet to be in a room with 3 people, but still be able to talk about our life in Lower Manhattan and many of our crazy stories from our childhood. And it really gave us an outlet to conquer my fear and deliver my message to a group of audience, over 100 people on Apple Music, Spotify, and even live on the air, which, was truly a great experience that, only Pace could offer.
Yes, yeah, I'm pretty sure you must have liked that experience. Do you have a call in as well during your live radio show, or was it pre-recorded?
It was live on the air. We could have call-ins and stuff. Not too many people called in, but we got most of our views on Apple Music and Spotify, I would say, as a podcast.
That's nice to know. So thank you, Cameron. And we are opening up the floor to questions from the audience. And if you haven't asked any questions, feel free to post your questions in the chat box, and I'm going to bring it up with the students. A very special thank you to the student panel, as well as to the admitted students and the families for listening very attentively. And I'll wait for a couple of minutes, and then I have some additional questions for all three students. If we don't hear from the audience, maybe the audience will think about the questions and post them on the chat box later on. But for the moment, I'm going to circulate some standard questions with all three of the students to get a feel of other areas that we didn't touch on. First of all, for each one of you, I'm going to ask whether you have lived on campus or you're a commuter, and how has that experience been, and how have you utilized the option of either commuting or staying on campus to maximize your activity, involvement in the activities at pace, as well as scheduling your classes. So I'll start with Ida.
Yeah, so I come from New York City, so I knew that I wanted to be in New York City when studying and going to college. So I'm a commuter, and I come to campus every day when I have courses or student activities. And I think for me, building that community, as I mentioned before, was important to me. So when utilizing the different times and really taking into consideration the commute onto campus, I knew I wanted to make the most out of my time here. So getting involved, whether that's with classes that I wanted to take that interested me, or getting part of activities through student life, being part of student organizations and going to different events on campus, that was something that I utilized heavily and still do that on a day-to-day basis. Whether that's, again, with my student organizations, I also have a student job on campus with the advisement office. So it's really just utilizing the time with something that interests you and making sure that you're making the most of your time on campus. I'm speaking from a commuter standpoint, but I'm sure even when dorming, to make sure that you are making the most out of your time while at college, because it is a unique experience, and just making sure that you're getting your experience out of it in the way that pleases and enjoys you out of it the most.
Excellent. And managing your time, because you're a commuter, you got to manage your time well in terms of taking your classes, as well as being involved in these different clubs. So I'm quite certain that you've perfected that time management skill because you're a commuter. Moving on to Marissa Ann, could you share your experience? Are you a commuter as well, or do you live on campus?
So I'm from Long Island, but I decided to live on campus for the past 3 years. I was in 33 Beekman. I loved it. I felt that it was really easy to attend early classes or stay late on campus in the library and meet up with other students to work on projects and whatnot. It's like not even a minute walk from campus to 33 Beekman. So it's really convenient, and it's a great place to connect with students that live in the building as well.
Excellent. And Cameron, are you must be living on campus, because you're walking down to Wall Street in the middle of the night. So
yeah, I was fortunate enough to live on campus all 3 of my years so far. My freshman year, I lived in 182 Broadway, which I really love. My second year, I lived in 55 John Street, and now I live in the upperclassmen dorm of 33 Beekman, and I plan to live there as well next year. And like she was saying, it's very nice because it's such a short walk to campus that you can just be dressing out the door in as little as 5 minutes if need be. So it's very nice. And
the living experience at the dorms, you're happy with it, or can you?
Yeah,
say something
extremely happy with it. I must say they are much nicer than every other school I went to and visited. There's a lot more space. Most of the dorms have their own private bathroom. Like in the room itself, which is very nice. I believe that's not the case for Maria's Tower, but every other dorm is just like that, and it's very nice and very private.
Excellent. I'm just scrolling through some of the questions that have come up. Marissa Ann, how did you go about finding the internships in the entertainment industry?
Yeah, so actually my first internship I ever had was at a small record label, and I got it through the Arts and Entertainment Industry Network. I was just a member attending one of the meetings, and you know, somebody was looking for interns. So I decided to approach him, and I emailed him, and I winded up getting the internship. So I would say, you know, definitely staying involved on campus, staying knowledgeable on the industry. So keeping up with, you know, certain, you know, publications to keep up with what's happening in media, but also just kind of being a go-getter and looking on Indeed.com or LinkedIn to, you know, find out what opportunities are available in the entertainment industry. There's a ton. And it's super important to stay on top of them to apply early. You know, most of the major companies are looking for interns probably like 3-4 months prior to the actual program time. So yeah.
So this, the Arts and Entertainment Industry Network, can any student, arts and entertainment major student join this?
Actually, the club is open to any major. So you can be in finance, you can be in human resources. We've had quite a variety of students from different majors join our club. And it's free to just come to a meeting or not come to a meeting. We're really open to, you know, all students, and we just kind of, you know, come together to share our passion for television, music, art, dance, you know, all the arts.
Okay, excellent. So moving on, you know, like this is a question for all three of you. When did you first reach out to career services to look for internships? You know, at what stage in your, after coming to PACE?
Yeah, I'll
Cameron,
answer.
you want to go first? Yeah.
Yeah, of course. So I started reaching out to career services at the very beginning, I would say. I remember I was going to resume workshops my freshman year, and I was, you know, getting all of that ready so I could start applying on Handshake as soon as possible. Because, you know, really the effort you put in is the effort you get out, I believe. And so I was going at it from the beginning, and I was meeting with my advisors, meeting with career services, really trying to find the opportunities available to me and seeing if I could pursue those.
Thank you. Ida?
Yeah, I completely agree with what Cameron said. Even if you're not meeting with them one-on-one, career services is always holding some type of event or some type of information session. So you're bound to meet with someone from career services at any point in your college career. I personally met with them my second semester of freshman year to really start off the bat with my resume and cover letter and pitching in those ideas of what I wanted to find in an internship. But at any point, really, you're bound to meet with someone, and they're always there holding some type of event for you to really build on those, even if it's not a workshop at their office. They're always partnering up with different organizations on campus to really build up those different skills that you might need.
Thank you. And I'll ask Marissa as well.
Yeah, so because I was a transfer student, I, you know, kind of felt like I needed to catch up with other students who had more internships, more experiences. So I tried to be as proactive as possible. I did attend a resume workshop my first year at PACE in the summer. And I also took a professional business planning and practices. I think it was optional then, but it, you know, it's a course for students to really learn about LinkedIn, internship opportunities, interviewing, and my professor was also working in career services, so I would visit her after, you know, kind of building a connection in class to go over resume building and interviewing skills. So
thank you. There is a interesting question from the audience, and I think I'm going to ask Ida to help answer that because she's a tax major. I know that, you know, you're doing accounting and tax, but the student is asking, I want to become a lawyer after getting an undergraduate degree in business. are there strong connections between Lubin and other law tracks at Pace that could help me with that? The reason I'm asking you this question is because a lot of our tax professors also have a law degree. So law and tax, they go hand in hand. And so if you want to take a shot at it and answer this question, or otherwise, wait till Neil gets on later on and let him answer it as well.
Yeah, so I could definitely touch on that from the perspective of being in a classroom with a professor, and you'll see that a lot through tax specifically, and something that I've seen with my professors. A lot of them have that combination of a law and taxation or accounting background. So you definitely have that perspective coming into there. We definitely have a law department that works greatly within Lubin and has a lot of great professors that have that professional background within law and tax specifically in my case. So a lot of them are professionals that are working in the force, but also coming back to teach students. And I know first off that we do have a law school for PACE, so that connection is there if you're interested in law specifically, but professor-wise, there is that background, especially within that tax perspective of having that law understanding and bringing that into the classroom.
And with that track, the reason I asked you the question is because if the student does their undergraduate degree at Lubin and they want to get a foothold into the legal profession, they can go through the law and tax program to get entry into one of the practices there as while thinking about going to law school later on, just to get
yeah. Of course. I mean, there's definitely that overlap. And even during my time at PACE so far, I've taken numerous law courses that tie into that business aspect and into that accounting and taxation portion of my degree. So you definitely see that overlap. And of course, you're taking a law course to begin with for your university core, but if you're going into the accounting track, you will see a few more variations of that law practice also coming into play.
Thank you, Aida. And before I close up, there's one more question that I'd like to ask all of you with regard to study abroad opportunities. Have you ever availed of any study abroad opportunities, or what are your recommendations for a student interested in studying abroad? So I'll go with Marissa first, and then I'll come back to Cameron and Aida.
Yeah, so I was supposed to go to Sweden and Denmark over the after the spring semester, but of course, due to certain circumstances, that was canceled. But I do have to say, it was really easy to apply for the course, and the professors were really helpful. There's also scholarships that you can apply to cover some of the funding. So I definitely encourage it as soon as you can.
Thank you. Cameron?
I believe in my case, I really wanted to go to Australia and I really wanted to study abroad in that sense. But then I kind of, kept having a realization, that I really like New York and I really want to be in New York with my friends. And, I kind of decided to stay. But for those of you who want to study abroad, there is like unlimited opportunities to study abroad at PACE. You can go to literally just about any country you want, and they have schools everywhere. So you just go to a meeting, set it up, and you can make this happen. It's really doable and very good.
Thanks. Aida, you want to add any thoughts to this?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't studied abroad during my time at PACE, but working at the advisement office, you definitely see an abundance of students that are interested in studying abroad. And really, when looking at the course requirements or even like the availabilities at different schools, there's such a great array of them. You could really explore any country that you really want to go to, and that option is available for a lot of the different majors. It's really just putting your foot out there and really seeing what it is that interests you and where you want to study and what you want to gain out of it. And a lot of our professors are the ones that lead it, so you're building that connection with them as well. So it's really awesome of an opportunity for you to take part of. Thank you.
And one final question to all three of you, that's a very important question. What are PACE faculty like? What are they really like? Can you share some insights? Cameron?
Yeah, I've had nothing but positive experiences with all the faculty members and all the teachers that I've met at PACE. They're very helpful and they're always willing to help. I know that I personally have Randy as a teacher for marketing, and she is above and beyond. You know, she's very incredible, very sweet, very knowledgeable, and always willing to help. And especially with these remote classes now, you know, she's especially helpful and, you know, very understanding of, you know, because I'm 3 hours behind now. So definitely nothing but positive experiences and very knowledgeable professors who are willing to help.
Thanks, Cameron. Ida?
Yeah, like I said, my professors have all been amazing, especially in the regards of now going into my major. Really, I built that connection with them in the sense that these are professors that I'm going to see a lot more often going into accounting and tax. But it's also very interesting to see that being in New York and being part of a business school, you have professors that are out there in these industries and that are working within these industries, perhaps in companies that you're interested in or have worked in these companies. So it's a great experience for you to be in Pace and in Lubin and have these professors that have gone down the experience that you are potentially going into and building that connection with them down the long run.
Thanks. And Marisanne?
I agree with both Ida and Cameron. In my personal experiences, the faculty has been nothing but personable, helpful, and really want to see you succeed and reach your potential. You know, I've had the pleasure of making great connections with certain faculty, and you know, I've even had some of them help with internship opportunities. So they're a great resource, and I definitely recommend right off the bat to get to know your professors and visit them during their office hours.
Thank you. Thank you once again, all three of you, for sharing your experiences and enlightening the newly admitted students. I would also like to thank the students and their families once again for patiently listening to this Q&A. So I will now turn over the microphone to Neil Braun. He's the dean, and thank you once again for listening to the session.
So hello again. I think you'll understand it when I say that the most gratifying part of being dean is getting to know students and watch their evolution from high school students like you into the young professionals that Aida, Marisanne, and Cameron have become. It really is a place where I witness the evolution of young people into mature adults and young professionals, and it's incredibly satisfying. And I think it's important for you to realize that we're a business school that meets you where you are. A lot of students don't find their full traction until they get to college. So we're not going to make judgments about how you've done. If we've admitted you to the Lubin School of Business, it's because we believe in you and we believe you can be a great young professional. We'll meet you where you are. If you lean into the experience, here's the secret. You have to engage with us. You have to use career services. You have to use advisement. You have to join the clubs. You have to go to faculty office hours and get to know faculty and talk to them outside the classroom. If you do those things, there's more opportunity at Lubin and Pace than any one person can take advantage of. And you can evolve to being the same articulate, compelling people that the students you've met this morning are. I thank you so much for being with us. Please continue to stay safe and take good care of yourselves. We're going to stay online for a little bit so we can continue to answer questions in the chat room. And if you have questions that occur to you after the fact, here is some contact information. There's the email address to write to. If you are now convinced that this is the place for you, we look forward to seeing you in the fall. And there's an address where you can make your deposit. Thanks again, and have a great day.